Happy Tuesday. Tuesday has arrived. We had to just come off a big holiday weekend. Hope everybody is doing amazing this week. Hope you're launching into this week. What are you watching? Hey, what you are here watching is the Imperfect Action live stream. If you were wondering what that is, who am I? I am Rob Fenstermaker, former corporate burnout survivor turned kingdom builder. Your kingdom builder. I will help get you out of the rut. I will help bring clarity to what it is you want to do in life, and I will get you in action. That's what's important. If you want to do something in life, you need to get in action. Hey, a couple things coming up this week later on Friday. It's another virtual Friday whiskey hour. It's an opportunity to close out your work week by having some meaningful conversation. We've had some great conversations of late. Recently, we talked about the greatest generation in the world and different generations and how they impact the world. And we all have the opportunity to impact this world. Stop on by. There's no need to drink whiskey, but I just call it the whiskey hour for a reason. I do like to sip a little whiskey, but go ahead and stop on by. Next Tuesday is the Iron Sharpens Iron community. That's an opportunity to bring people together and just have some deep, meaningful conversations. But with that, we are going to go ahead and launch into today's Imperfect Action live stream. My guest today, Vance Morris. Vance helps business owners get, serve, and keep clients for life through creating experiences and response required marketing without working harder. He's a former birth control factory security guard turned Disney leader, turned bankrupt out of work executive, turned carpet cleaner, turned successful entrepreneur. Vance, all I can say is it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day.
You are
I
not
love it.
kidding. And the
Yes,
crowd
it
goes
is.
wild.
Crowd goes wild. Yes. Yay. Yeah. That's, I got to admit, the Carousel of Progress at Magic Kingdom, that is my favorite ride. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you're hot and miserable, you get 25 to 30 minutes in air conditioning. And if you do it just right, you can take about a good 10-minute nap. That is
Yep.
why it's my favorite ride.
And when it breaks down, it's even better.
It's even better. That's right. You can really lounge out and just take a little bit of a snooze there. But Vance, I love what you do. Disneyfy your business. And I shared with you before we got on. Hence the shirt here. Look at this. I
Yeah,
got
man.
Mickey
You look
on
great.
there. I have my wife and I and our children. We have been huge Disney fans. This goes back to when my wife and I we went on our honeymoon, and someone gave us, and we've spent our honeymoon out in California. Started up in San Francisco and drove down Pacific Coast Highway 1, and so people knew we were doing that. And somebody gave us 2 passes to Disneyland, and that was my real first experience with the Disney culture and Disney entertainment and how Disney serves you. And we decided to make Disney something our family. We took our daughter when she was 18 months to Disney World for the first time, and pretty much every year we've gone at least one Disney trip. And there's a reason why we do that, because Disney, they know how to do it right. They have it down to a science in what they do. And turning our business, creating that Disney experience for our business is something you lead people on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the Disney does have it down to a science, and everything at Disney is run by either systems or processes, and they are all simple processes. I know that we're talking about taking some imperfect action. Disney
Mm-hmm.
makes a lot of mistakes as well when they put stuff into play.
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah.
before we got on, we were talking about your favorite resort, the Yacht and Beach Club, which I was on the
Yacht club, no
opening
yacht
team
club.
of.
The beach and yacht club, they're combined, but I prefer the yacht club.
Yeah, okay, well,
I
they
do.
share the same
You know what I
pool.
love? Yeah, here's what I love about really nice hotels. The one thing I really love about a nice hotel, and this is what I really love about the yacht club, I just like to go out and hang down in the lobby. Grab my
Mhm.
morning coffee, sit in the lobby, and just kind of people watch. And
Yep.
I love doing that. That's why that's when a hotel has a great lobby. That's where I love to be.
Yeah, you might not know this. When we first opened the resort, somebody thought it would be brilliant to have live fish swimming with the guests in the pool. So, if you're not familiar, it's a sand bottom pool. I mean, it's just like walking on the
Yeah,
beach. The problem was they couldn't
yeah,
balance the chemicals where it was safe for people to swim and didn't kill the fish. So our job as we walked to work every day
yeah.
was, if you saw a dead fish, you picked it up and took it inside with you.
Yeah. What kind of
So
fish would
yes,
they
they
have
make
swimming in the
mistakes.
pool?
Those
Yeah. What kind of fish were they?
big orange koi things.
Okay.
Yeah, those big orange koi things.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I think they've had. Yeah. Yes. They've definitely made some mistakes. I agree with that. And because you see all the time, they'll launch. Well, most recent example, the Star Wars hotel. That was a disaster. That was an absolute disaster. And I mean, I it's to me it just didn't make any sense.
It was a financial disaster.
It's financial disaster. Yes, financial disaster.
Yeah. As experiences go, I mean, they pushed the envelope I mean, well, they busted the envelope. There wasn't even an envelope to go in. I mean, um, they did a poor job marketing it because they didn't tell you, or if they did, they didn't do a good job of it, that you were going to be, you're literally immersed in Star Wars. I mean,
Yeah.
you are a
You don't see it.
character in the
Yeah.
thing. And if you don't like Star Wars, or you just kind of have like a little fleeting, you've
Yeah.
watched one of the movies, you're not going to enjoy yourself.
Yeah. You don't even see
And
sunlight. You're locked in that building for whatever, however long it is.
2.5
Then you get
days.
out in the
Yeah.
sun. Yeah.
But as an experience, holy crap. I mean, that was just flipping amazing. And the
Yeah.
fact that when they did allow you to go outside, the only place they let you into was Galaxy's Edge, which is Star Wars
Okay.
land at the
That's good. Yeah.
studios.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
felt like you were really in a Disney movie. So yeah,
But they tried it. They gave it
they
a
tried,
shot.
and it'll
And
turn into something.
yeah. But they did, so that like as you got here, version one is better than version none. They could have talked and talked and talked, but I see a lot of people with their business, they'll talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about what they want to do, and they never do a damn thing with it.
Yeah, and
You
that's
just
the people, they get into that analysis paralysis, or it's got to be perfect before you get it out the door. I said you're going to be broke and out of business if you try to perfect things. Version one, get it out. If it needs to be improved, great. You can have version 1.1 next week, or
you
version
tweak it, you tweak it.
1.6 next month,
Yeah,
whatever. But you won't know unless you take some kind of action. And that goes for everything. I
yeah,
mean, if it's a postcard in your marketing, if it's a new way to answer the phone, whatever the hell it is, just implement it, get it done, get the feedback, make the tweaks, and get version 1.1 out there.
yeah. And if you fail, hey, I think you learn more about those failings anyways than you do of success, because you learn those lessons. You learn what worked and what didn't. And always, go back to the famous quote of Thomas Edison, where he said he never once failed making the light bulb, but it did take him 10,000 tries to perfect it. He
Yep.
was willing to fail. He was willing to, experience something that didn't go quite the way he wanted.
Yep. And sometimes through our failures, we come up with a completely different action plan or idea that ends up being over the top extraordinary. And if
Yeah,
you hadn't failed, you never would have discovered that new plan.
right. Right. And you're kind of circling back to Disney. They create that experience because if you've spent any time at Disney, and I have spent time at Disney,
Yep.
you realize it's really a show, and that's how they treat it. They call everybody cast members, and they call
Yep.
them that for a reason because they're there to provide a show for the guests. They don't call it an amusement park; it's called an entertainment park, and it's very different. Very different. They don't really have the thrill. They have some thrill rides, but you don't go there for the thrill rides. You go there for the experience.
You do. And I mean, because admittedly, it's a small world, would be a really boring ride if they got rid of the story.
Yeah,
I mean, if there was no music and no little dancing dolls, it's just that little canoe that goes in a big circle. And
it plays a
if
song you can
that's what,
never get out of your head. Plays a
yeah,
song you can
well,
never get out of your head.
we won't do that to the listeners.
No, we won't.
Um, but so I mean, Disney is a storytelling company,
Yeah,
and every little thing at Disney literally has a story behind it. So I take business groups to Disney, and one of the things we discover is that every little icon, statue, all has a story behind it. So we go to Epcot and we go over into China. And in the China Pavilion, at the top of the restaurant, on the peak of the roof, is a little figure. It's probably 12 inches long, and it's a little man riding a rooster. And I asked people, I said, you see the man up there riding the rooster? And they're all like, yes. And I said, well, that's Emperor Min. You see, back in the 3rd century, he was extremely, extremely cruel emperor, and his people hung him because he was so cruel. And now in Chinese culture, they will put an effigy of Emperor Min outside of their homes to ward off evil spirits. Now, that is a 12-inch little statue that 99% of people will never see. And if they do see it, they won't know what it is. But that is the story behind it. So everything at Disney has a story behind it. And everything in your business, while maybe not that elaborate, should have some kind of story behind it.
Yeah, story's powerful. I mean, story is powerful because story can inspire. Story can change everything, and you got to have a story with what you do. I wholeheartedly agree. And there's different versions. There's story brand, different things out there. But creating that story of what you want to do, how you want to do it, I think that is powerful. Huh. I'm gonna have to look for that the next time I'm at Epcot. I don't know when I'll be at Epcot next. I think we got I know we have a Disney trip coming up here pretty soon. I'll have to look for that. So just a real quick side. I know they're getting ready they're always talking about adding another country into Epcot. I think it's going to be Brazil. They don't have any representation in South America. That's what I think. That's where I think they're going to go with this, but I don't know. I think
they're going to have to go with a country that's got money. Because
if you ever go to Disney in January, 50% of the people are there are Brazilian.
Yeah.
So we were there one time right after New Year. We were there one time right after New Year, and I kept seeing all these Brazilians. I couldn't understand it, and finally I asked one of the people behind the counter, was working on the counters, and her tag says she was from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and I'm just like, hey, help me. Why are there so many Brazilians here? So, well, it's their summer break. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Got it. So that's why I think it'll be Brazil. But
yeah, well, they do have room for seven or 9 more countries.
Is it okay? I know.
Yeah, I know there was more than just
one. Yep. Yeah. I know exactly where they're going to put it. But we'll see. We'll see when it happens. So creating those. I think experience is important. I think experience is so valuable. I'm at this point in my life right now where I embrace experience. And I think that, there's something very enticing about that. And, the older you get, I think experience just speaks to volumes. And right now, my, focus, if I want to be around people that can create that experience. So if somebody has a business, when you're working with them, how do you work with them to build that experience so they can become memorable to their customers? And you create customers that are fans, they're going to tell their friends, and you're going to get more customers. So how do you work with them to create that experience?
Yeah. So, I mean, the end of the day, what you want your customers to say once they leave your establishment, or once they've bought something on your website, is, oh my God, you'll never guess what happened at insert your business here. Oh my God, you'll never guess what happened at the dentist today. Oh my God, you'll never guess what happened at the oil change. Those conversations just do not occur at the dinner table anymore. Nobody goes home and says that, because they're not memorable. They're boring, they're mundane. And so what you have to do is look at, and you have to plot out your entire customer journey from first touch point, which, whatever that first interaction is it a postcard, an ad, a phone call, a visit to a website? And you go through, okay, what does the guest do next? Okay, what does the customer do next? What does the customer do next? And you continue to build that out. And then you look at it and you're like, okay, What do we do first? What's going to have the most bang for our buck? What do we need the most attention on to create an experience and obviously be able to monetize it? So, I mean, let's take answering the phone, for example. That is a very boring, mundane thing that most businesses still have to do. And they all do it in the same way. Thank you for calling Biff's service station. How can I help you? I mean, it's as close to that as everywhere in the world. I mean, it's going to be some version of that. But if you want to make it an experience, well, now you have to go back to your story and, okay, what in your background, what in your story, what in your business could turn this into an experience? So I worked with a insurance agent down in Louisiana, and he loved rock and roll. I mean, he had gold records hanging on the wall, autographed guitars. I mean, his office just looked like you walked into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And so we did a brainstorming session with his team, because you always got to include your team if you have one. And a lot of times they got better ideas than you do because they do the job every day. And they realized that he was the rock and roll insurance guy. So after a little bit of tweaking and, a few iterations, they finally got it down. And this was an employee idea. It wasn't even his. And they now answer the phone this way. Thank you for calling Dave's Insurance, the agency that rocks. And they say it exactly like that.
Like a DJ.
Remember,
like a DJ.
Your marketing is designed to do two things: attract the people you want to do business with and repel the people you don't. And just by answering the phone that way, you've now become memorable. People will remember. By answering the phone that way, you're sift sorting and screening out anybody who would just be a lousy customer. And you're attracting the people. They're like, well, they don't take themselves too seriously. They sound like some fun. Insurance is boring. I don't like talking to boring people. Let's figure it out. So it's looking for things like that will start to create the experience. They don't have to be expensive. I mean, half the experiences at Disney cost them nothing because it's done by a person or an employee.
Yeah. You know what? I shared with you, my son did the college program, and he was custodial at Magic Kingdom. And one of the things they taught him was with the little broom how to ride a Mickey head with water. And so when he had some downtime, you just go out and do that. And whenever they do it, there's always a crowd that just gets drawn to it. And the little kids love it, and they want to get a picture, next to the water Mickey head on the ground. And
But what did it cost Disney to do that? Nothing.
It costs you to train the employee how to do it. That's all it costs. That's it.
And now you've just entertained 35 or 50 people who forgot about the fact that they were waiting in line to, for 3 hours to go on the Haunted Mansion. They forgot about their, $72 4 hot dog meal that they just had because some kid went out and drew a Mickey with a broom. I mean, it's genius.
It is. Yeah. That was probably, that was when my son did the college program and he did that. You just saw him blossom as a young man. And he decided, when his college program was on, he wanted to stay down there. He was able to get on full time. And now he's a butler at the Haunted Mansion.
There you go. I mean, but Disney, I mean, we talked earlier, they call them cast members for a reason because they are performers in a show. And we need to get that feeling, that mindset to our employees as well, that they are performing a role in our show. I mean, we got them for 8 hours. We tell them what to do, and you will perform. I mean, because why should a customer, have the phone answered by a business one way in the morning when Marge, the phone answerer, is, she just had her coffee, everything's great, and Marge is excited to answer the phone. And then at 4:59, somebody calls and Marge is grouchy. She's hungry. She wants to get out of there. And she answers the phone, okay, Dave's Insurance. What the hell do you want? I mean, it's so if she knew that she was performing,
Yeah.
she would perform the same all the time. Because if you went to a performer, you went to Hamilton, and the lead actor was having a bad day that day, I mean, you'd be demanding your money back because it was a lousy show.
Absolutely.
And the lead performer can't have a bad day. And so we need to
Yeah.
get that mindset to our employees, even ourselves, that, you know what? Yeah, you may be tired. Yeah, you may be standing in a bucket of dog poo because that's what your job is. But you know what? You better have your smiley face on when you answer the phone.
You do. You do. So let me kind of, so someone's a solopreneur. They're like me. I'm a one-man show.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to them as to how to create that excitement for what they do? Is it you're going to apply it the same way, or I mean, the same principles it would
It
apply
really
from?
is. I mean, looking at the entire customer journey, we all have one, unless you don't have customers, which then I don't know why you're in business, but that's a whole
That's a
nother
hobby
story.
at that point. That's a
Uh,
hobby at that
but
point. So
but it's, I'm the same way. I mean, in my coaching business, I'm me. I mean, that's it. I
yeah.
got a VA that helps me out every once in a while, but that's it.
Mhm.
Um, and so I have to find ways to, Walt Disney called it plussing, where you're
Okay.
constantly improving the show.
Yeah.
And so one thing, so like if you, so I wrote a book a number of years ago. It's on Amazon. If you buy it on Amazon, it comes in an Amazon box and it arrives at your house. There's no fanfare, right? So I use it as a lead generation tool. And so you can get it for
Mhm.
free on my website. And if you get it
Mhm.
from me, I used to send it in just a plain box that I bought, online from the box store. And
Yeah.
then I thought to myself, I said, well, you're the experienced guy. You should probably jazz this up a little bit. So I had a
Yeah.
custom box made. So now when you open it up, it says, here's the Disneyfy Your Business. It's a custom box. And then I was
Yeah.
like, okay, it's a book. It should probably have a bookmark in it. Great. So I had a bookmark made. Now that goes in there. Well, it's kind of a workbook. I should probably include a pen. Great. Now I got the custom pen and that goes in there. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, they just bought something from me. I should probably include a thank you letter. Okay, great. So now I got a thank you letter that goes in there. Well, I'm sending them this big box of crap. I might as well try and sell something to them. So I put a sales letter in there as well. So now when you get a book from me, it is an
Yeah.
unboxing experience because you open the box and you're not expecting, this custom thing and this nice colors. And all of a sudden there's a pen and a bookmark and stuff comes flying out. You know, that's how a solopreneur can Disneyfy
Yeah.
or unmundane themselves, just by looking at, if you have a book, how do you deliver it?
Yeah. I love that.
But yeah,
I love that idea. The unboxing. You reminded me that I shared with you. My wife and I, we do a lot of the Run Disney events, and her girlfriend did a virtual event, and so they got all the came in a big box, and they have a YouTube channel, so they're going to create a video unboxing all the stuff, and you get the medals. There's shirts. He's already opened it, but they're going to do an
sure.
official video. There's actually, if you've ever done a Run Disney event, at the end they give you a little box of just food because you've run, so something in there, and the little they call it the plastic cheese. There's a little thing of plastic cheese in there.
Yeah,
So it's you get all the stuff. So you open the box and there's all the stuff. And yeah, she's looking forward. She looks forward to that when the box arrives. Yeah, it's just creating that experience. I think is important because um, people will remember how you made them feel. They will remember how, both good and bad. They will remember how you made them feel when working with you or
yeah.
experiencing what it is you have to offer.
And that
And
is
I hear you.
that's the highest you can get. I mean, if you look, Pine is a book, called The Experience Economy, which
Yeah.
highly recommend to people who want to get into this deeper. And the bare bottom are commodities, which
Mhm.
all of us are in commodity business. I mean, butcher, baker, candlestick maker, doesn't matter. Dentist is a dentist. There's only so many ways to clean teeth. What separates one dentist from another? Right? It's the
Experience.
in-office experience that they
Yeah.
provide,
Yeah.
which is why one dentist can charge more than another dentist, even if they're in the
Yeah.
same building and right down the hall from each other. How does dentist A charge 30% more than dentist B? By the
Yeah.
in-office experience that they've provided.
Oh, it is. You mentioned dentists, and my wife and I, we moved down to South Florida from Central Ohio just, about 2.5 years ago, and we struggled to find a dentist. And we found this dentist. I just kind of stumbled across her, we went to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and we went in there, and you go in there, and it's like you're going to a resort.
Hmm.
The odor, just the smells that you're in there, and you kind of circling back to Disney. They are very aware of that. You go in certain parts, there are smells they pump out. There's a reason
Well,
they do that, and
well,
it's
don't
very
smell is
enticing.
your number one scent when it comes to memory.
Yeah, yeah,
You
and
know,
you'll
and
you'll
yeah,
be
they are
working there
very intentional about piping those
100%.
smells in. I mean, I tell people, especially medical offices that I consult with, I say the last thing you want is your office to smell antiseptic,
Yeah,
or smell bad. I said, go buy yourself a little toaster oven, put it around the corner, and about every 30 minutes, go bake one cookie and just make the
yeah,
entire office smell like fresh baked chocolate chip cookies.
yeah.
And if Marge gets hungry, she can eat them, whatever. Um, but but yeah, I mean,
Marge on the phone. Yeah,
the sense of smell is the number one sense as humans that we have that trigger memories. And
yeah,
so I mean, lots of Disney attractions are set up that way. I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean isn't a moldy, musty place. They actually have that scent blown in there. So.
yeah, yeah. Or you'll be walking down, and all of a sudden you'll smell ice cream. And
Mhm.
sure enough, there's an ice cream shop. Well, the smell of that, they're pumping that out there, and all of a sudden you're
Yep.
hungry for ice cream or whatever it
Yep.
may be. Churros, churros are big at Disney. But yeah, that scent is creating that experience. Yeah, that's what's powerful. So, and and one thing that Disney is good at, and I have realized this of all the times I've been at Disney, is separating moms and dads from their hard-earned dollars. They are fantastic at that. They got that one
That
down
they
to a
are.
science.
That they are. I mean, and that it sounds crass, but that's why we're in business. We're in business to make money. While
Yeah,
Disney is there to entertain and they're a storytelling company, at the end of the day, they've got shareholders to make happy. They got to make money. They just do it in a way that sometimes you don't even realize you're being sold to. So I
yeah,
don't know if you've been to the animal kingdom, and they
yeah. I
have,
love
they
that
have
part.
them everywhere, but they have those little
Okay.
mobile merchandise kiosks. They're like little carts. They roll around and set them up.
Okay.
And they
Yeah.
sell all of the, Disney trinkets and rubber balls and things. So we were at the Animal Kingdom one year,
Mhm.
and the cast member from the little cart bounced a ball to my kid. It's one of those big
Yeah.
goofy balls, big rubber ball. You probably get it at
Yeah.
Walmart for like $8. Um,
Yeah.
and so my son bounced it back to the guy. Then the guy bounced it to my daughter, and he bounced it back, and then he bounced it to me. Of course, I bounced it back because I didn't want the darn thing. But he has now engaged us in play, right?
Yeah.
And then he bounced it to my wife, and somehow the ball ended up in my backpack, and I was whacked for $70 because they have figured out how to entertain you, how to play with you,
Yeah.
and they also will sell you something that you cannot buy anywhere else in the world. Can you get a rubber ball at Walmart? Sure. $9, you're in, you're out, you're good to go. Disney, they control the environment. It is a
Mhm.
controlled sales environment. And that is what business owners have to do. They have to set up something that, is not hostile. So
Yeah.
I still own my carpet cleaning and home service businesses. And because we are going into people's homes, we consider that a hostile sales environment because we're in somebody else's kitchen. We're in their territory. So we have to turn their kitchen table or their counter or whatever into our area. So we'll
Yeah.
lay out, here's all of our spot removers and a box of this, and then here's our client folder, and we start putting papers and brochures. And in a matter of seconds, we've commandeered their kitchen table with all of our stuff. And now they are no longer in their kitchen, they're in our world. We'll play them a
Yeah.
video. So when you control the environment, and you sell things that they can't get anywhere else. I mean, if you go to Disney, Disney does not sell gummy bears. Can't get them there.
Okay.
You can
Okay.
get Goofy gummies.
Okay.
And and so Disney is everything branded to them. So you
Yeah.
can go to your local 7-Eleven or convenience store, you get a little, 4-ounce bag of gummies, and it's like $6 or $7. You go to
Yeah.
Disney and get Goofy gummies, and it's like $13 for a 2-ounce bag because you can't get it anywhere else. It's
Yeah.
exclusive to them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes, you're right. I now that you say that, I've been to Disney so many times that that's kind of slipped out of my mind that is the way they do that. So absolutely, and
And
especially when you have little kids. When our kids were little, they're like, "Oh, mommy, daddy, I gotta have it, gotta have it."
yep. Well, when speaking of that, so I mean, Disney studies, they do time motion studies of their guests. So they got people just sitting
Yeah.
there watching all these interactions. And at one point they had a very big problem selling merchandise in the parks, because and selling it early, because nobody
Mhm.
wants to, they had to have the shops open because you can't walk down Main Street and have everything closed up. But nobody
Right.
wanted to buy anything because who
Yeah.
wants to schlep that stuff around with them all day? So the shops were empty. Might be a couple people browsing, but nobody was buying anything. So they said, all right, well, how do we fix this? So they came up with the idea of buy it and we'll ship it back to your hotel room for you, and it'll be there before you get back from the park.
Yeah.
Great. We solved that problem. Now they're selling stuff left and right. Nobody's got to carry it around. But then they came into another problem, which was now people had all this crap in their room that they bought, but they didn't have a big enough suitcase to take it all home. So they had to go buy suitcases, which of course you could get a Disney suitcase if
Yeah.
you really wanted to. But people complained. So what did Disney do? Now they've got the app, and you can go into a Disney store, doink, hit a button on your phone, and whatever's in that store gets shipped to your house now. You don't
Yeah.
even
We've
have
done
to
that.
make a purchase,
Yeah.
and,
We have
and
done
carry it
that with
around with you.
Yeah, we have done that with things that maybe we have purchased that might have been breakable. And so we just
Yep.
said, all right, just ship it to the house. Just ship it directly to the house.
But Disney knows how to eliminate the barriers to the sale. So we
Yeah.
all in our businesses, we put up barriers. Like we don't want somebody to
Yeah.
buy our stuff. And Disney is all about breaking those down. So let's say you and your 6-year-old daughter are, in the mercantile, and she says, "Oh, I want the 96-piece Minnie Mouse tea set." Right. And so you're a good father. So you and your daughter, you get the Minnie Mouse tea set, and you stand in line, and then you plunk it down on the counter. And in the time it took Dad to reach for his wallet to get his credit card out, he had like 1.1 seconds to rethink this purchase. And Dad said, "You know what? We don't need a 96-piece Minnie Mouse tea set. Put it back." Disney saw this. So what did they do? They invented the magic bands. Now, the magic bands are, they're your room key, they're your
Yeah.
tickets to get into the park, but they're also your wallet. So now Disney has eliminated the need for you to go and get a credit card out of your wallet. And now all they got is the magic band. So you go up there with the 96-piece Minnie Mouse tea set, and doink, you just bought it.
Yeah.
So they have eliminated that barrier to the sale. So you got to look at all of your interactions with your customers and say, okay, what have we put in place that's just pissing people off and
Yeah.
is maybe turning people away from making a purchase? I mean, do you have like 6 pop-ups on your website, and by the second one, people
Hmm.
are fed up with you? Do you have 9 forms that you fill out in your office, and 6 of them are essentially the same? Do you put signs up, that say, no cell phones, no food, no drink, no this, and they're all negative signs, big red X's and
Yeah.
stuff. Those are all barriers to the sale. Now, whether you allow cell phones or food in your business, fine, but there are nice ways of saying it without putting the big red X
Yeah.
sign right next to Marge. I mean, Marge has got enough problems. We don't need to have any other problems with Marge. So,
I think I take Marge appears a lot in your workshops. Now you hold these
oh yeah,
workshops multiple times a year, and you hold these at Disney World,
yep,
correct?
yep,
Okay.
yeah. Marge is. I am not a fan of Marge, but since that
He
name
means
is
well.
not really used too much around anymore, I feel safe using Marge as a as my character to foil.
Yeah. So these workshops you hold at Disney, I mean, are these? I'm assuming there's multiple. I mean, how kind of walk me through a workshop, a
Yeah,
Disney
sure.
workshop.
So they are anywhere between 3 and 4 days. Just depends on how
Okay.
long the group wants to go. It is a full immersion into Disney. So it is set up half classroom, where we go over the strategies, tactics, and we actually start to build your blueprint for Disneyfying your business. And then the other
Okay.
half is what I call a walking classroom. We go into the parks and I show
Yeah.
you, how they do, their, how they manage their lines, all of the things that have stories behind them, all those attention to detail things that Disney does. We talk about their merchandising strategies. We talk about, their attraction strategies. And at the end of the event, you will have a blueprint to actually go and get stuff done Monday morning.
Mhm.
I also create experiences for them. So before we got on the show, I was telling you about the opening event for the Disney experience that I run, and it is a 9-course wine pairing dinner. The chef is out there. He set a kitchen up outside, and this is outside. You have
Okay.
the Cinderella castle as the background. I mean, the tables are beautifully set and lit. There's 19 spoons, and you don't know which one to use at any time. And the chef comes out. The chef is a master sommelier, so he comes
Yeah.
out and he spiels the meal. He describes the wine and how it pairs, and everything's done. I mean, it's like being in a kitchen because they literally bring the kitchen outside and do all the plating right there. Activity, action, and people are just, if you've never been to a wine pairing dinner, it's an experience.
Yeah.
Doubtful that most people have been to a 9-course one, and we pull out all the stops for that because we want people to really see what it is to have an experience that is so over the top that is not meant to make you feel bad that you're not doing it. Because if you don't have, I always ask people, always ask me, well, why do we want to copy Disney? I'm like, you don't want to copy. Unless you own a theme park, you don't want to copy Disney. But what you do want to do is you want to adapt what Disney is
The business
doing
principles.
into
Yeah.
your business.
Yeah. I mean, the business principles or business leadership. Yeah. I shared my son did the college program, college internship program, and he was able to get some college credit through it. And not all, but he took advantage of the classes they taught. The Disney leadership, the Disney business.
Mm-hmm.
He was able actually to get some college credit through the school he was going through at that point in time. So yeah, there is a science to it, and Disney didn't get to where they're at without a plan, without a purpose, and without intention.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. You've got to, everything at Disney is intentional. There's nothing left to chance there. Imperfect, yes, but
Yeah.
not intentional.
And they're not afraid to try. They're not afraid to try new things. And like we said earlier, I mean they've definitely have had their share of failures and they've had their share of successes.
Yeah.
And one of the things I really love about that I enjoy about Disney are the shows. I enjoy the shows. You think of Disney, you just think of ride. But I enjoy more of the shows. I've always enjoyed the shows. But they've even refined some of the shows, like the Finding Nemo show
Mm-hmm.
and Animal Kingdom. They've kind of changed it around a little bit. It's not the same show. The show is still good. They just kind of changed it a little bit to keep people coming in. And
Well,
they've
they
done the
have.
same with the Lion King show and Animal Planet as well.
Mm-hmm.
They've changed that around a little bit to keep it fresh.
Yeah. Well, and and Walt designed the parks to be that way. He designed them to continually evolve.
Yeah.
Because if you just left everything the same, well, nobody'd come back because, well, I've already done It's a Small World. I don't need to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, they've got to, constantly adding stuff, updating stuff. I mean, the classic one is Pirates of the Caribbean. When, the ride obviously came first and then the movies started to come out. And once the movies were that commercial hit, they completely revamped Pirates of the Caribbean, the ride, to include Jack Sparrow and everything.
Yeah.
And so, Jack Sparrow wasn't there 20 years ago or however long ago the movie came out.
No. But yeah, you got to be willing to adapt. You got to be willing to change. I always say the final 7 words of any dying organization are, "We have always done it that way." Okay. Good luck with that.
That's just
Good luck with that. Good luck with that mindset, because that's not going to get you anywhere. Yes. Yeah.
Nope, it certainly will not. Yeah. What do they say? If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got.
That's right. It's the definition of insanity is, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And sometimes you just gotta be able to step back and evaluate and self-reflect. And I mean, any business owner has to do that. They got to be willing to self-reflect. And we all have these blind spots in life. We all have them. And sometimes you just got to be made aware of. And sometimes, people like you and me, when we're coaching people, we're able to see those blind spots that someone has. And a lot of times those blind spots are what can hold us back from, taking our life and our business to that next level.
Yep.
Because we're unaware of it. That's why they're called blind spots for a reason.
That's why they're called blind spots. Yep.
So people want to check out your website. This is it. And when they go to the website, what will they see?
So you will see everything I just talked about. You'll learn a little bit more about me, obviously. But there is the offer for a free book. And you can just go to deliverservicenow.com. There's an option for free book. And if you get it, well, you will see the box that I just told you about.
You'll get the unboxing. You will get the unboxing.
You will get the unboxing. So, and then there's also some other, free downloads. All of my blog posts or articles are, there's a mini marketing or mini experience lesson in every single one of them. I mean, I don't write just to write. There's really a hard strategy or tactic that, if you adapt it, will certainly make your business better.
So you create that call to action, and you got to have that call to action. And if you're going to have you got to have that call to action. And if you want to be successful, people need to know what you want, what your message is. You can deliver that message, but if you don't have that effective call to action, they're just like, what's next?
If you don't have if people are interested in you and you don't have a what's next, you're screwed.
Yeah. And people want to reach out to you direct is the best way to reach you.
Email's great. Vance at deliverprofitsnow.com is great. I read my own email and reply to my own email.
Yeah. Let me ask you that. What do you love most about what you do?
It gives me a chance to not be bored. I run into different problems with different kinds of companies and an opportunity to really get creative in how they market their business. I just brought on a all natural farm. They do mail order beef and chicken and stuff like that. And the person out, the farmer, is a young lady who is she has got a creative mind. I mean, she has stories about all her animals. I mean, we were talking this morning. I had my coaching call with her this morning, and she had an article about pig porn. Now, and it literally is pictures or videos of pigs making more pigs. And you would think that, okay, that's a little weird, but people loved it. I mean, she said, I can't tell you how many people watched the video till the end. I mean, well, we all know what happens at the end. It's like watching the Titanic. We know it sinks. We know what happens at the end of the piggies. But she uses her personality, and I think that's going back to storytelling and everything else we talked about.
Yeah.
Is that I love getting the story or the personality out of the business owner, and then making that the face of the business, and that's just, I mean, it's just fun. And if you're having fun when you're working, it ain't work.
Yeah, you got to have fun. If you're doing something, if you got to have fun with it. And I realized years ago that there's honor in work. There is honor. And even when I was in corporate, I realized, there is honor in work. We were putting this life to work. We weren't putting this life to be on vacation all the time. We were putting this life to work. And yeah, we can have those times of rest and relaxation, but work is what gets us there. And when we work hard and do what we love, um, when you have those moments where you can kind of pause, it's just kind of, there's no difference between how you work and how you relax. They're all the same to you. You enjoy them fully. You enjoy them completely.
Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like sitting on a beach, eating bonbons and drinking beer, just like the next guy. But yeah, so yes, downtime is important. But when you're doing stuff, I mean, you got to admit, I mean, taking business owners to Disney, that doesn't
Yeah.
suck as a job.
No, no. Just don't take them in the middle dead of the summer. Got to get a little
We
crispy
don't
down
go.
there. So
No. We stopped going. Like first week of April is like the latest I will go,
okay.
because it's just too stinking hot.
No, it's at least I'm near the shore, so there's some breeze. You get in the middle of the state. There's
Oh,
no breeze. It's
disgusting.
just it's just hot and miserable. So you go till April. When do you crank back up again?
Usually end of October.
Okay. So
And so because I like going then if we go because the place is decorated for Halloween.
right.
And if we actually get there on Halloween, we can see Halloween one day and we go back and the next day it's Christmas.
Yeah, that's amazing. And plus you're also done with hurricane season by that point as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen there's stuff I've seen on the Travel Channel where they just kind of show that thing, and they all man on deck when they're
Oh,
doing that,
it
and they
is.
get it
And
done. And
but
it's like, and the thing is, they have it so planned out. There's an SOPs and everybody knows what they're doing. Nobody's left guessing. Everybody is clear, and that's the other thing. If you own a business, that clarity of message. People need to know what their responsibility is, because there's no quicker way to get a disgruntled employee than just like hire them and just throw them out on the floor and like, yeah, just
Yep.
go do it. And they're left to wonder what they're going to do, and they start doing it. And maybe they don't do it the way you expected them to do it, and then you kind of get up in their business about it. And if you didn't give them the clear objective to start with, you have no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about employees and training today, but you are spot on that.
Yeah, yeah, and I've come from an Army background. I was an Army officer, and when you're all you do is train. You're training, you're training, you're training, you train nonstop. And why do you train nonstop? For when the real stuff happens, you just react. You know what to do.
Yep.
You don't have to think about it. You just do it. And the same
Yep.
with business. Training needs to be something that's integral in any business plan, because your employees need to know what to do. And they need to have a latitude as well. Give them the latitude to make those decisions. But if they know what the expectation is, it's so much easier for them to make those decisions that are aligned with the business mission.
Yep. You are 100% correct, sir.
All right. Well, hey, we are kind of coming up on it on time here. I appreciate you stopping by. It's been a great conversation. But do you have any parting wisdom for those out there that of what you would like to say?
Yeah, do something. I have one saying, and I am not a big cliche sayings kind of guy, but I have one, and it's you won't profit unless you implement. So do something.
Yeah. Just do something. Just do something. Or as famous marketing slogan you say, just do it. Don't
Just
think
do it.
about it. And what wasn't just think about it, it's like just do it. Just do
Yep.
it. So yeah. Live your life that way. And live your life in all aspects, just not your business life, but I'd say live it holistically. And when you live it holistically, your relationships are better. How you approach your life is better. How you approach your business is better, because we are holistic beings. So you might as well live it holistically. So,
Yep. Well, I appreciate you having me here.
Vance,
Thanks so much, Rob.
yes, I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate you stopping by. It's been a great conversation. I hope everybody got some value out. I know I got some value out of it. I definitely got some value out of this, some things I'm going to apply. But Vance, I do appreciate you stopping by, being a part of the Imperfect Action live stream. Next one will be tomorrow at 2:00. My guest will be Tom Briggs. Go ahead and stop on by and experience what Tom has to offer. But people, it's been a great Tuesday, great conversation. Let's make this a great day. Peace out.